Yes guys, welcome back. So what you're watching right now is one of the most misunderstood events in nature, and that's a honeybee swarm. So right now the bees they're swarming out, and to many people this might look very scary, right? But to us as beekeeper, this is actually a good and healthy sign, you know, because when you see stuff like this, it's like you know that yeah, it's a healthy colony. The colonies are healthy because a swarm means the hive has grown strong enough to reproduce, right? Because swarming only happens when the bees are reproducing or something else. But for now, we'll look at the positive side, because a swarm means the hive has grown strong enough to reproduce, and this is how the honeybees create new homes, right? By swarming. So a swarm happens when the colony becomes very crowded. Like if there's lots of bees, the old queen leaves the hive with thousands of workers, while the new queen stays behind. And this is how one hive becomes two, naturally in nature. You know, so the bees you see here right now, they're not so aggressive, right? Because they have no hive to defend, right? And they're more focused on like finding a new place to live, a new home, and that's why swarming bees they're usually calm, right? Swarming bees is more calmer than a bees that has a house or have a home already, right? Because they have a home, they can defend it. But a swarming bees they're hunting. So when a swarm land, like for instance when a swarm is touched down, like this, it's only temporary, right? Temporary, because the scout bees they're flying out in all direction right now. They're trying to see if they can find, basically they're searching for like a new home, like hollow places, maybe in rocks, in trees. They're looking for protection from like wind and rain, right? And they're looking for a place big enough so they can grow. So that's what, so when you see swarm, like a swarm of bees flying out, basically they're looking for a new home, you know. And when they find that good option, they return to the hive, to where they are, to the group, and that's where they communicate through movements and vibration. That's why you have like the waggle dance and all these things come into effect, because honeybees really, they're very organized, right? They may seem like they're busy and like they're panicking in a panic mode, but it's not really panic. It's more of organized. They're structured, right? So once they find a good place that they can say, hey, this is where we're gonna camp out, and they take all the options, and then the best one, that's what they want, that's the one they move with. Unless they only have one option, but they'll choose the best. Where maybe more food is, it's much drier and less predators and all these things, right? So catching a swarm, right? Catching a swarm, it helps the bees to survive, because if they're outside and they don't have anywhere, within a few days they will die, right? So catching a swarm helps the bees to survive, because without a new home, the swarm, they only have like a few days to live without a home, because bad weathers, predators, and lack of shelter can wipe them out quickly. Because just imagine if it's raining for like 2 days and they're outside, and if the water is very cold, or if bird or other predators see them and can catch a queen, then they're going to be queenless, right? And you know how queenless hive works already. So by placing them into a hive box, giving them shelter, some kind of structure, and a chance to build comb and store their food, then they will survive. And that's one of the most natural way to start a new colony, right? That's the easiest way to start a new colony, by catching a swarm and giving them the necessary things that they need to survive. And with that, you know that yeah, you're starting a new colony, right? So one of the things is, yes, the main thing is trying to get the queen inside the box. Because once the queen is inside the box, when you're catching a swarm, once the queen is inside the box, then the rest of the bees will follow, right? And if you can catch that queen, then your job will be much easier. But if it's hard to find her, especially in a bundle, and sometimes she may look just like the worker bees, so it's another challenge. But once you can find her, all the rest of the bees will follow inside. So and once they follow, they will begin building their wax almost immediately. And once they get inside, that's the first thing they're gonna do, start building wax, because they need a comb. They need that, like the wax comb. They need that wax to become storage for the honey that they're carrying inside their stomach, right? And they need it for storage of pollen. Plus, they're gonna need space to raise the new young bees, or new baby bees. So basically, within just a few weeks of putting a loose swarm inside a box, they can become a functional hive, right? So once you give them the necessary things as a beekeeper, right, they will function. And everything you see here right now that I'm doing is just a process of beginning, right? The beginning of that process of them becoming a functional hive. So it might look scary, but it's natural, right? And as I said, they're not very aggressive right now as how a functional hive would be. They're more calmer because they're full of honey, because they're carrying food inside their stomach, right? Because when the hive is moving, the workers carry food as much honey as they can inside their stomach. That's how they move. So the first thing they do is begin making wax or building storage space inside that new home. So, and here, one of the things is it takes about 8 pounds of honey just to produce 1 pound of wax. So just imagine the bees basically have to carry 8 pounds of honey just to make 1 pound of that wax to make the honeycomb. So this means that the hive will work non-stop, foraging, building and growing just to survive. Because if it takes 8 pounds of honey just to produce 1 pound of wax, just imagine. So a healthy colony really, they can visit millions of flowers in a single season, pollinating crops and like wild plants along the way, lots of stuff, right? Everything that you see blooming and all these things, the honeybees will be on it. And this is why bees are so important to our food system, because without the honeybees, there's no pollination, or the pollination is not as much as how it would be, you know, and our food source would drop, you know. So swarming isn't a problem. When you look at swarming, it's really a renewal, right? It is how honeybees spread their colony or their genetics to adapt to the environment and strengthen their species, right? So every swarm that survives means more pollination, stronger ecosystem, and more life moving forward. So when we protect swarms, we protect the future of the bees, you know. So seeing a swarm is a good thing. So when you see a swarm, it's not really, it isn't like you're watching something chaos, or is it chaos? It's balance, it's growth, it's nature doing exactly what it's designed to do. From a cloud of bees to a living hive. Yeah, from a cloud of bees to a living hive. You see them swarming and all of that. So yeah, honeybees is not bad, but it's a very good thing. So thanks for watching. Thanks for helping protecting the bees. Yeah. And this is where every hive begins, from a swarm. Listen.